hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you.
Reese on the radio. Whack FM.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Yeah. Ha ha. What's going on, all you scallywags out there? You know what time it is. That's right, put your hands together. Because it's time for the world's most hated and, dare I say, the most racist online show in America. It's the Reese on the Radio Rundown with yours truly, Mr. Reese on the Radio. Scallywags in the house. I have a programming note that I just learned of, and I apologize that it had to happen the way that it did. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to remedy it or not. We're going to have a discussion here at the household about whether or not we're going to do it. Forgive me a minute while I check up these monitors. Anyway, make sure my volume is up to par. We are not broadcasting on X because we have to go premium in order to do that, which we're trying to figure out whether or not we're going to. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll have a decision by tomorrow. There are some other situations that we have to deal with, and then I will explain that to you when we do. Let me get this volume up. If it appears low to you for some reason, that is my fault because I've been messing around with this audio for a while. A lot of changes that are happening. No, you're not very loud. Okay, that's what I thought. There's probably a couple of reasons for that. This might be better. Let me know if that volume is a little better. Thanks. Thanks for your fill-ins on WBN recently. I'll be back there on Friday as well. So expect me there, Fume, and all the scallywags in the house. Fume, Rama, KB, Michael B in the house. KB says, as a 22-year-old military veteran, I'm so excited that a Marine is going to be our next VP. As that big girl Lizzo would say, it's about damn time. No doubt. Absolutely. J.D. Vance in the house. Michael B says, what's up, Reese? You see what the crying Negro brother said about Amber Rose. I missed that. I don't know who. I'm assuming you mean Van Jones, the older crying Negro brother. For those of you who do not know, there are two crying Negro brothers over at CNN, Van Jones and Bakari Sellers. The crying Negroes, they are hired to show up on the network to cry about whatever situation it is, to cry about things that make no sense, that normal brothers would never cry about, but these crying Negro brothers would show up there. Potter in the house. What's up, baby? Welcome to the fray. Haggis in the house. Rama says, at the very least, you could upload little segments on X. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do, but I think we're going to go live. It's just going to take a minute for us to do that. Fritz and Chrissy in the house as well. Scallywag is on deck. We got to talk about a lot of stuff today because, of course, I've been gone. We didn't broadcast since Saturday, and then Sunday I was asked to be on WBEN to do a live broadcast for 3 hours. The tone has been in a lot of radio networks. In fact, there is a internal memo. I'm not going to read it. It's not like I'm telling tales out of school. But after an assassination attempt, tempers tend to flare. And many program directors across the country in various forms were saying, look, we have to be careful that we are not adding to the apprehension, that we're not adding to the flames, we're not infuriating people or sort of getting them supercharged, putting batteries on their back. And I had to explain to people, like, I don't do that anyway. Like, if I wanted to hate, I could hate. That's easy. It's low-hanging fruit. And not only that, I'd make it stick. But I don't want anybody being supercharged based on something that I said after an assassination attempt. So I've been tempered. However, I've been watching people who are, they got the ones that are sitting around in the newsrooms right now who need their fix. Okay, it's been 72 hours. Can I call him Hitler again? I can't. What are we going to talk about if we don't call him Hitler? Oh, I need my fix. Oh, jeez. Just give me a little bit. Just give me a little bit. Oh, God. Can I call him Stalin? Oh, please. Let me call him anything. Just give me a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's the way they are. That's the way they are. In fact, it is so bad. It's so bad that they had to kick off Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough from over at Morning Joke. They had to kick them off the air. Worst part is they didn't even tell them why. They lied to them. We'll get into that a little later. Now, how do you lie to your signature program that gets all the viral hits? By the way, no one watches it, but gets all the viral hits. You don't even tell the host. You lie to the host and tell them they're not going to be broadcasting the Monday after assassination attempt. It's the biggest morning of their career. Do you know all of their fans, if not everyone else, is going to tune in to find out what Morning Joke's going to say? And you get there, and what happens? They kick them off the air, to which they were pissed off about today. We'll get into that. But I want to go into this. This is important because the nonsense is the nonsense. And the Democrats are having probably one of their worst several weeks in a while. I mean, this is bad. This is like Jimmy Carter is staying alive just to watch this. Jimmy Carter's looking around and goes, I don't think anybody remembers the 70s. I think we're all clear. I think we're fine. It was asking, does anybody even remember I was president? Because this is a train wreck. If it couldn't get any worse, your man Gold Bar Bob has been found guilty. Oh, damn. Gold Bar Bob, whoo, he and his co-conspirators found guilty. And he's got another 2 charges coming. We don't know what's going to happen to his wife. I don't know. She's not going to, her trial doesn't start until September or October or whatever it is, because she's getting treatment for breast cancer. I thought he was going to throw his wife under the bus. If he did, I don't know how bad he did, but it wasn't good enough for him to scapegoat her and not get a guilty verdict. 16 counts of guilty for Gold Bar Bob. It couldn't have happened to a better scumbag. You just can't put money in your shoe, dude. You can't put cash in, you stuffed cash in envelopes inside a jacket with your name on it and then say, that wasn't me. That's my wife. Did you really think that was going to happen, dude? Come on. Oh, God, the way they said in the hood, you played yourself. And not only that, one of the guys who bribed him was a informant and testified against him for the prosecution. So it's a wrap. Sure, they'll appeal it. We'll see what happens. But, what can you say about good old Gold Bar Bob? I think it's only right to say this. Na, 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 na. Let's all pray. Na, na, na. Mm-hmm. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Bye, Bob. Nice knowing you, Bob. All right, enough. I gotta play. I gotta show the picture of my favorite photo right now. I would have gotten a T-shirt. I'm probably gonna buy a T-shirt, the one that the Hodge twins. They've got a great T-shirt. I'm probably gonna rock. But this picture, I mean, we're talking about casting 1,000 ships. That's the picture right there. When I hear it, I want to listen to my intro. Yeah! That's what you see. At least that's what I see. When I see that picture, I hear, yeah! America! He's American badass. Does Biden get custody of the gold bars? Of course he does. It's a badass picture. It's a wonderful picture. It's a picture of triumph. That is the picture that goes in the Oval Office day one when you get there. Okay? You know it. American Badass by Kid Rock. Absolutely. Trump is raising a black power fist. Kill Whitey. I saw this thing. Let me see if I can find it. This was, is it still here? Let me go back to this. 50 Cent ties his classic song to Trump assassination attempt. He goes, I know the vibes. And you all saw the video if you watched it online where he superimposed Trump's picture onto his Get Rich or Die Trying album cover, which I thought was amazing. Fritz says, I hear Nirvana. Which Nirvana song? Now, to be somewhat respectful of President Trump, Bag Rocks, Chris Murphy is going after Yes, I heard that JD Vance is getting some stuff, some heat from Chris Murphy. But Chris Murphy, listen, this is Chris Murphy doing nothing more than try to rise his popularity inside the Senate. If you notice, he's been everywhere and he's becoming more and more inflammatory. He's trying to become a national figure. Watch Chris Murphy. And I said this 2 years ago when I joined WTIC. Chris Murphy is trying to become nationally recognized. He's got bigger ambitions. But watch him. Anyway, by the way, I wanted to play this. I wanted to make this clear. There are people who said after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and there are videos out there of this, that went so far as to say that the whole event was staged. And on this show, I can say this. On broadcast, I can't. So forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. Please stop giving attention to the retards. Okay? When people say that this is staged, there's a reason for that. Because they know that Donald Trump is getting some sympathy points for this, and it's really resonating with people. And so to call it a false flag and a conspiracy, I find laughable. Because, by the way, if you meet anybody, like in Connecticut particularly, if somebody in Connecticut says it's a false flag, and those two people didn't get critically injured, and one person in the crowd who was shot in the head and killed, shielding his family. If people suggest that this is a false flag and it never happened and it was staged, I want you to say 2 words to them. Alex Jones, and immediately watch them retreat, because they were probably celebrating when Alex Jones was sued successfully for over $1 billion for saying that Sandy Hook was staged. Now they're saying that the assassination attempt on Donald Trump was staged. You might want to check yourself. Aside from that, again, you sound retarded. A special kind of stupid, I might say. A special kind of stupid. So I've designed a little piece for you. Every time I hear from you idiots, you sound like this. That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like. It was a false flag. It didn't really happen. Really? Oh, they made a special song for you. Fritz, are you just going to keep giving me rock songs that he should listen to? Nightlight is not one of them. And I love the Silver Sun pickups. Anyway. I love that poster. Now, of course, the question becomes, what are Democrats going to do, right? How do they tone it down? Will they be able to tone it down? Because remember, in order for them to win, they need to keep telling the American people the person that Donald Trump is, right? Dictator on day one, bloodbath if he doesn't get elected, you know, all of that stuff. He's a threat to democracy. They know that that's being used or said as a reason that he was shot at on Saturday. So they're very tempered about what they're going to do. They was like, Listen to this exchange between Karine Jean-Pierre and a Fox News reporter when she asked her, Jackie Heinrich, in fact, asked Karine Jean-Pierre, well, you know, now that we have to tone it down, are we going to keep calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy?
Are we going to continue to hear the president in official events or on the campaign trail use the phrase threat to democracy specifically?
I want to be very clear. The president's always going to denounce violence.
It should be a no.
Forcefully denounce it. He's always been against this throughout his career, throughout the last 4 years. We do not want to politicize this. It's unacceptable to do that. That's what the president has said. It is time to bring this country together, to bring American people together. That's what he wants to see. And so that's where I'm going to leave it. He wants to unite this country. And that is something that he's been saying since 2019.
It should be a no.
That was the sound of Clay Higgins when he was questioning. Remember when he was questioning Christopher Wray? He kept saying, you should just say no. It should be a no. She can't just say no. Are we going to hear him tone it down? Just say no. We're going to continue to say that he's a threat to democracy. We're going to keep dialing it up a notch. That's all we got. Have you not been paying attention to our presidency? We got nothing. We can't run on Bidenomics. That's a bomb. We can't run on gas prices. We said we were going to stop fossil fuels. We got nothing. We got nothing. The American people are living paycheck to paycheck. What are we running on? Our candidate is 800 years old and can't remember his name. What are you talking about? Are we not going to demonize Donald Trump? We got nothing. That's all we can do. And now they're acting like the guy's never been vilified. Here's Jonathan Capehart, the guy who sat idly by while Kathy Hochul said that black kids in the Bronx don't know what a computer is. Yeah, this guy. Apparently he doesn't understand the definition of being vilified either.
The left has vilified Donald Trump.
I'm sorry, define vilified.
You can argue the merits, But in fairness, the left has vilified Donald Trump. Threat to democracy, that he's a...
Is that a vilification or
he's
an
a proto-fascist?
Is that a vilification? And I don't mean to argue with you, Jeff, but I disagree with this notion that the left has vilified Donald Trump. The left has pointed out multiple things he has done as president, has said as president, as a candidate for the presidency again, that deserve to be pointed out, deserve to be criticized. That's not vilification. That's acknowledging what is there for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's not vilification. It's not vilification at all. Jonathan Capehart doesn't see it that way. Well, I think it's only right that we go to the source, right? The titular head of the Democrat Party should be the one that set the tone on whether or not we're vilifying the guy. So I went back. I went back to September 1st, 2022, just over a year ago. Well, just under a year ago. I'm sorry, just under 2 years ago, I should say. Just under 2 years ago. Here's Joe Biden at Independence Hall. Joe Biden at Independence Hall. The soul of our nation speech. You tell me whether or not this is vilification of Donald Trump and or Republicans.
There's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. These are hard things. But I'm an American president, not a president of red America, blue America, but of all America. And I believe it's my duty to level with you, to tell the truth, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful. And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. And they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards.
MAGA forces?
Backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence.
No vilification here, huh, Jonathan Capehart? No, this is just regular rhetoric. He's talking about Republicans, or MAGA Republicans for that matter, as a opposition force, like a military might. This isn't demonization. This isn't vilification. Do people not understand that?
That are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country.
Yeah, I'm not sure you understand what the word means, Jonathan.
Now, if someone had called him, all sorts of names, in addition to that, then the name calling, I would say, is vilification.
You mean like Hitler?
But the substance of what people are talking about, you can't call that vilification when you're hammering the guy on what he proposes for the country and to do to the country.
Which no one's been able to define. You ask some of these bozos, man. I had a conversation many, many months ago with somebody who swears they understand politics. What's the threat to democracy? And I've never seen anybody in my life go into convulsions the way they did. And they usually respond was like, you know what that means. I'm like, no, I don't. If you tell me that he's a threat to democracy and I say, how is he a threat to democracy? You should be able to define it if you believe it. And no one can. You guys probably heard me when I was talking to Tim just the other day on WTIC. What's the threat to democracy? He starts talking about France. What? Scott Jennings, who's turning into, I don't know, he's almost sounding MAGA to me lately. He didn't sound like he was much of a Trump fan, but he's coming around.
This man's opponent just got his ear shot off, okay? And his instinct was to try to do some wordplay with the crosshairs bullseye thing, and then turned right around and uttered the lie about the dictator, which is a complete and total lie, and the lie about the bloodbath, which is a complete and total lie.
Both true, a complete and utter lie. Bloodbath, didn't say there'd be a bloodbath if he wasn't elected. Never said he'd be a dictator on day one. Total lie.
I find this to be pathetic and small and partisan. I need the president to have an ounce of humility and introspection here. He is our leader. He's our leader, and he needs to simply say, I want to lower the temperature. I'll take responsibility for my part. We should all do that together. And he cannot do it.
Of course not, because he's got nothing.
He can't do it.
That was met with this. On the other side of the table is Ket Bedingfield, is her name, former campaign manager or campaign spokesman for Biden in 2020. She said this.
Using language that incites people. And I think hang on. Yeah. And I think if we can't have an honest conversation about that for the next 3.5 months, then we're going to wake up in November in a country we don't recognize.
I'll tell you one way we can have an honest conversation about it, by having an honest conversation about it, because the bloodbath, the dictator, so much of what the Biden campaign says about Donald Trump is just not
true. Those are all things he said,
in your parlance,
those were all things he said, Scott. They were all things he said. Yes, I'm seeing the YouTube comments. I'll get to them in a second. These are all things he said, Scott. Is it though, Kate? Is it all things he said? Let's put that to the bullshit test.
Those are all things he said.
And you think you're going to get that? You're going to not hire Americans and you're going to sell the cars to us? No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line. And you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected. Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Those are all things he said.
He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
Okay? Those are all things he said. No one's being honest here. They've got nothing else. They got nothing else. They're stuck here. Who cares what Lamar Luttrell believes? I don't know who Lamar Luttrell is, but I'm assuming you mean, isn't Lamar Luttrell the gay character on Revenge of the Nerds? I'm almost certain. Is that who he is, White Mike? I have a strange feeling because I heard Lamar and I'm thinking that's the only time I've ever heard that name. Capehart is married to a white woman. Guess he really means it when he says F Whitey. I am not talking about Ali. Trust me, you were close, though. Tim is a loser. He would be happy Ned just wasted money for more fast-track electric buses. I still don't know why he's doing it. Okay, yeah, so White Mike says, yes, Luttrell was the black kid from Revenge of the Nerds. He graduated from my junior high school. That's the only reason why I know that. That's the only reason why I know that. He was the most famous guy who went to Susan B. Anthony High School, with the exception of yours truly. But the only hammer I see is the one hitting Paul Pelosi. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Biden couldn't make that speech today. He deteriorated so quickly. He sure enough did. Rama says Biden's speech sounded better in the original Sherman. That it did. But remember what I said earlier, right? The folks in the news media, they are being forced to tone it down, and they are not happy about it. They don't want to tone it down. They are addicted to the rhetoric. They need to tell everybody, listen, this guy's a dictator, and if we take our foot off the gas, he's going to win. They think they have the influence to stop this from happening, the inevitable, because that's what it is. Donald Trump might as well put on the gauntlet and says, I am inevitable. He just should say it. Just do it. Somebody should just create that meme now. But anyway, Joy Reid, who, by the way, whoever does her makeup, probably her, should tell her, baby, you look like a clown. Nobody puts on purple eyeshadow with blonde short hair and purple lipstick. Nobody does this on a black woman's skin. Nobody does this weird she looks like a clown. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying this to be mean to clowns. Because how does she look at this face? Why does she do this to herself? Come in there and just look like a black woman instead of this circus freak that you put on at night in between two of these white women. Like you're in the middle of this white girl sandwich and you are the one who looks weird here. The 1970s streetwalker look. Potter says, it's worse than that, Potter. You have to see this look. Look at this. Joy Reid, again, desperate to call him a dictator and a fascist and Hitler.
I will say that the kind of universal kind of reaction that I'm getting, whether it's civilians or, professionals, is really a deep concern and lack of confidence.
Why? Just why? Everything about that is insanity. Everything about that outfit is insanity. Who would put this on? What's... I was right there too. Haggis says, no, Rama says, she looks like the Joker. Yes. Haggis says, I seen someone with white hair and purple eyes and lips. She in the morgue? Fume says Joy Reid equals Huggy Bear. Mr. Happy's look. KB says, you think the carpet matches the drapes? I hope not. I hope not. Why would she do this? Why? Anyway, let's get back to this. Listen to what she's talking about here. She is so worried that they will take their foot off the gas. And the people she's talking to, all three of them, believe they're going to give Donald Trump a pass because he just got shot.
Say that the kind of universal kind of reaction that I'm getting, whether it's civilians or, professionals, is really a deep concern and lack of confidence in not us at this table or us at MSNBC, but us as the media writ large. And a fear that what's going to happen now is that the Republican Party will do what they do. They're in the middle of a campaign. The convention started today. But the media will acquiesce to trying to convince people that the things they've been experiencing for the last, 5-6 years didn't happen.
What, like they don't have a memory unless you refresh it for them? Like, none of this makes sense. So she's saying that today, because they're lauding over Donald Trump, that the American people will forget what the last 5 years were like. Who thinks of people like that? They don't have a memory? If they think that Donald Trump is a dictator, they'll keep it. They'll keep that memory.
That the greatest purveyor and promoter of political violence, really, since anyone can remember, since George Wallace.
Democrat.
Think, that we just haven't experienced that kind of open, sort of citing or sort of incitement of violence or sort of luxuriating in the idea of violence. It's just not something we're used to anymore in American politics.
Except in the summer of 2020.
And we had to get used to that being a thing. And people are concerned and expressing concern that we won't be the guardians of memory.
We won't call him a Hitler, fascist, communist enough that we may have to be forced to treat him like a normal human being.
And that we will allow Donald Trump, as he is, bathed in the glory and grandeur of his party, to rewrite himself as both a hero and a victim, that people who are the most vulnerable to not just the things he's done, but the things he's promising to do, and that will then happen without a guardian saying, wait, stop, and then the media will acquiesce to this rewrite.
She really thinks that she's a guardian. Guardian of what? Of the Republic? Does she think she's an avenger? Like, what do you we are the guardians of memory, right out of, the guardians of memory, right out of 1984, damn well. Yeah, word salad indeed. Michael A. says, maybe her dresser was Stevie Wonder. She'd totally take his advice. Michael B. said, did she get a fade on her forehead? Even the host she's talking to is speechless. Of course yes, it was a bunch of nonsense. And Rachel Maddow, who's so she panders to this stupidity, knowing damn well it makes no sense, and she's just going, Like what this bozo is saying is, bozo! There it is. Like what she's saying is deep. Not even close to it. Rama said she's got a 5 head. I'd have given her 6. I'd have given her 6. Oh, back now. Speaking of MSNBC, let's deal with MSNBC since we have to. Joe and Mika, let's talk about this. So you're supposed to be the political show. You've got over 2 dozen guests who come on the program. You got Mike Barnacle, you've got Al Sharpton, you got Donnie Deutsch, you got all of these people who come on the network and you talk politics. This is inside the Beltway nonsense, right? And the president of the United States, you've got his ear on your program every morning, which now we find out is BS because the president wakes up at 10 o'clock, hours after the show's even over. So I guess they TiVo it or DVR it, and then he watches it, and he comes up with his policies based upon Morning Joke. Okay, clearly understand why he's failing. But it's the Monday after the assassination attempt, and NBC takes them off the air. CNN finds out about it. They report on it. But Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough are called by the NBC brass, and they are told that, hey, listen, it's a breaking news day. All of our networks are going to streamline one network and all the breaking news. It's just going to be up-to-the-minute coverage of the assassination attempt. We're going to take you guys off the air on Monday morning. And they were off. Well, it turns out NBC had a different idea. They just took Mika and Joe off the air. Now, we all know why. We know that the network was concerned that somebody on the network would say something about Donald Trump being a fascist pig, or being a dictator, or being Hitler-like, or at least expressing some sentiment that sounded remotely like they wish he had died. They were worried about that because that's what the show is. It is a free-for-all to bash Donald Trump. And the brass knew that that would hurt the network. So they duped the host. They lied to their own hosts, which is a no-no. I don't work with you if you have to lie to me to keep me off the air, and I find out that you're doing it behind my back. But what I do is I just quit. You guys don't respect me and respect my show, and you lied to me to keep me off the air. You lied to my entire staff. You don't respect me, and you don't have my back. I'm out of here. I'm taking my stuff elsewhere. Like they would get another network, but you know the drill. So they're removed. Now, what happens next appears to be par for the course over at the NBC network or NBC Universal, where the employees get to crap on, if not shout down, the people who write their checks. Remember when they hired Rona McDaniel, the former RNC chair? When they hired her, the brass got a mouthful from Chuck Todd and everybody else on the NBC network and said that they were wrong for hiring her. They subsequently fired her. Why? Because the troops got angry. Forget about what the brass thought was good for the network. They followed the leadership of the people they pay. What part of the game is that? And then Mika and Joe get on the air today to excoriate their boss, because apparently that's what they do over there.
We were told in no uncertain terms on Sunday evening that there was going to be one news feed across all NBC News channels yesterday. The Today Show would be Lester Holt, other people that you worked with on Sunday, and that was going to be one news feed across all NBC News channels, that we were going to stay as a network in breaking news mode throughout all day yesterday. That did not happen. We don't know why that didn't happen, or team was not given a good answer as to why that didn't happen, but it didn't happen. We were also told it was going to happen throughout the day. And I guess after there was such a strong blowback about yesterday morning, I guess they changed their plans. And so those plans changed as well. So it didn't. We've talked about it off the air. We'll talk about it on the air because we talk about everything on the air. We were very surprised. We were very disappointed. And if we had known that there wasn't going to be the one news feed from NBC News across all NBC News channels, Willie, we obviously would have been in yesterday morning.
Yeah, I was here up early on Sunday morning with NBC's coverage. Savannah and I led the coverage on Sunday in the immediate aftermath, talking to eyewitnesses, talking to officials about what happened. Obviously suited up and ready to go for yesterday morning on a big morning, and we're told that something else was going to be broadcast. So we are here today going through a lot, catching up a little bit, but we want to be here for our audience, and we know you trust us, and we have ultimate respect for you guys. So we are here today. I wish we'd been here yesterday.
Yeah, we all wish we would have been here yesterday. We still would like to figure out exactly why there wasn't that one news feed.
And I think the reason why is this show began and continues 17 years later on being the place where you can go to have the hard conversations in a civil way. And so it seemed like now more than ever is a time that we would like to be on, and I think our viewers agree with that. So we continue. We are 5 minutes past the top of the hour.
No, and let me just say, next time we're told there's going to be a news feed replacing us, we will be in our chairs.
We'll be sitting here.
Yeah, and the news feed will be us, or they can get somebody else to host the show.
Now, I couldn't believe that I actually heard that. We'll be sitting at our desks, and if we're not on the air, then they can find somebody else to do the show. I just simply said, hey, grab your ish. Let's go. Mika, you too. Everybody, let's go. Everybody get your bag. Willie, guys, get your bag. I don't care. No, you don't get to take your fake Emmy. No, it's nailed to the thing. No, you can't. No, it was in the office when you got here. It's not yours. Everybody get the F up out of here. You go on the air and you say the next time what's going to happen at the network? What part of the game is that? Where's that? When the hell has that ever been a thing? NBC is being run by the by the inmates? I mean, is that what's going on over there? Do they really think that they're that? Look, I'll be honest with you, folks. No one watches this show. It's on the air because their clips go viral for saying stupid things. That's the only reason why they're on, because NBC gets publicity from the dumb things that they say. People go to Morning Joke to actually find stupidity, clip it, and then send it all around the internet. It's the most watched gag reel. That's all this show is. I've been doing this for what? I want to say a little more than 12 years. Joe and Meek are some of my highly rated nonsense on this show. And you think that anyone could host this show. You could call it anything and no one would watch it. Give it to Al Sharpton and see if it does any better. Yeah, Mike Reese said, I hope they get fired. Exactly, they've been fired. Amy says, a place to go for hard conversations. Mika's not doing a good job of being Joe's MK Ultra handler lately. Mika and Joe have the audience 1/10 of the size of 1990s Howard Stern. He bitched about the boss night and kept his gig. Morning Joe is effed. You're right. A hard conversation is the only thing she will get from Joe. Hard conversations in a civil way. Just 2 weeks ago, Joe told the audience, F you, and went on to lie about Joe Biden's condition. You're 100% right, Fume. Oh, no, sorry, that's Rama. You're 100% right. And then the debate made him look stupid. I wonder if she's mad that her name is still isn't on the show. I bet she would. Morning Joke gives you plenty of content. It does. It's what gag reels are made of. But again, like I said, NBC brass said nothing. They were literally allowed to do this on the air after they said they had a conversation off the air. Now, maybe NBC is saying to themselves, you know what, talk about it on the air. Maybe it will get some hits. Well, it did. But it's not going to make anybody listen to the show or watch the show. They're an audience of one. And that's on, DVR at that. We do have a Joe Biden clip. And Joe Biden is going to have a debate with Donald Trump in September. Is it? Yeah, September. And Lester Holt did an interview with Joe Biden. And people are criticizing Lester Holt because they thought, well, he's getting it from both sides. Many people believed he was too soft. Other people on the left thought he was a little too hard on Biden. But this particular part of the interview is the one I want to pay attention to the most. And that is because by the time September rolls around, Joe Biden is going to be far worse than he was on the first debate. Far worse. How do I know that? Listen to this exchange about what if in the next debate you do poorly, you do more or on par or less in the next one. And I just worded that poorly. But here's the question.
If you were to continue to run and be officially nominated, what happens if you have another episode like we saw during the debate?
What happens if another?
Yeah, what happens if...
Did you hear that? It was like he was listening and then forgot what he was talking about.
If you were to continue to run and be officially nominated, what happens if you have another episode like we saw during the debate?
What happens if another?
Yeah, what happens?
What happened?
What happens if you have another performance on that par, on that level?
I don't plan on having another performance on that level.
What? I couldn't hear you. What?
I don't plan on having another performance on that level.
He's going to have a worse performance on that level. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you haven't heard, Nancy Pelosi is working the phones to get Democrats to become united in getting rid of Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi is about to destroy Joe Biden because they know he's not going to get out on his own, so they got to kneecap him. Now, I said that without a doubt that it was really, really time for them to let him go to the point where it didn't look like elder abuse. Well, now it is. It's beyond the pale. And if Joe Biden gives them a hard time, then the Democrats have to kneecap him and they have to publicly shame him. It will look bad, but it will hurt the Democrats even worse. I expect this. And this is my prediction. And again, I could be wrong, but hear me out. The Democrats are going to overplay their hand to the point where they are going to have to force him out. They will get pushback from Hunter and from Jill, Dr. Jill. They will get pushback from her and from the crackhead. They will have no choice but to humiliate them. Do you understand that? No choice but to humiliate them. This will damage the reputation of the Democrat Party. They will have to regroup. They will have to work on another maybe 8 to 10 years to get any good graces with the American people because they are going to kneecap Joe Biden. And it will be public and it will be humiliating. They want to give him an opportunity to go out with dignity, but if he doesn't and he doesn't heed their words, they got to work behind his back. And if they are working behind your back, they are working to destroy you. Because it is done without your permission, without your consent. You are being pretty much hamstrung. I don't know whether or not that audio's coming out from the Robert Hur investigation, but something is coming. I wouldn't be surprised if the October surprise was orchestrated by the Democrats to remove Joe Biden. I wouldn't be surprised. Haggis says, my mother has dementia and she acts just like Biden. You can see her get worse each day, and it does. Yes, he doesn't have a plan. Mother Nature will have one. And we all grieve for you, Haggis, about your mom as well. I thought I told Hunter to get me better Coke. Look at his smile while Lester's talking. He's creepy as hell because I don't think he knows where he is. I think he gets the information late into his brain. Potter says, to be fair, it's not Joe Biden's fault. This is elder. Yes, it is. I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier, but I'm only echoing what you said. This is elder abuse. But he's cognitive enough to say that he doesn't want to get out because, again, his ego is being bruised by all of this. But he's got no choice. And again, he's going to have the elements working against him. If you notice, Barack Obama is nowhere to be found. Hillary Clinton, nowhere to be found. Bill Clinton, nowhere to be found. They are letting this guy hang out to dry. It's a wrap for him. It is a wrap for him. As I said, in 2022, they are hiding from Biden. And I've been running that for the longest. I'll even go find that old piece. We do have a programming note today. I didn't mention any of the sponsors because, that's a whole long story. Nothing bad though. Sponsors are still here. We just didn't mention them today. That's not ego. People with mental illnesses don't believe that they have mental illness. It's a good point, KB. You could be right about that. I could definitely be wrong. Democrats are turning the U.S. into Gotham City, and Trump is Batman. I hope he's better than Batman, because at the end of the day, for some odd reason, criminal activity commences. Batman can be out there, but people are still robbing everybody. Anyway, programming note. Be on the lookout for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 12 noon on the West Coast. I am almost certain I will be filling in for Todd Feinberg for the rest of the week. I don't know for certain, but I will know tomorrow. I will alert as it goes on all my platforms. I will more than likely be on Twitter so that the people on X do not miss the show as well. So that will be the case for tomorrow. I'll be sticking around. Just stick around for updates on that. I will post it ahead of time that the show will be on so you can watch it here. That means that the rest of the week, the Reese on the Radio Rundown, in essence, will be airing at 3, but at least it'll be on for 3 hours, instead, which many people have been demanding and asking for the last couple of weeks. Of me. Somebody gave me a nice compliment today, and I'm probably going to see if I can get that clip. Reese will be on Freedom Fighters, and we will post too. Does that mean a live show? No live show at 8 p.m. No, I think, you did hear me. Okay. Yeah, this will be the live show if I'm filling in tomorrow, because it'll be 3 hours into 6 p.m. You can also listen on Rumble. This is something I need to express to you. Download the Rumble app. Let me explain to you why. Because the Rumble app actually operates like the Odyssey app or iHeart or Spotify. You can have it on your phone, Bluetooth it. You don't have to have it up. You can actually listen to it on your drive home. So while I'll be here, there'll be video running, you'll be able to get audio of the show as well. So yes, Facebook as well. So please make sure that you keep an eye out. Again, I'll be on at 3 p.m. Eastern. Fume said, if I sent you a Bills hat, would you wear it on the show? Of course I would. I was a big Doug Flutie fan in 98, and Flutie Flakes were one of my favorite cereals at the time. I thought it was great. Yes, of course, Fume, I will. Contact me directly, and I'll tell you how to send it. Thank you, Michael A. I appreciate it. So, like I said, be on the lookout for that. Anyway, as I always say, radio is free, so I thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow, because we hope to see you back here tomorrow too. Michael B said, yeah, thank you, man. I much appreciated, Michael B. I appreciate that. Don't make me blush. That's a really nice thing to say. All right, I love you guys. Be good.